Hello guys, for today's session. Today's session is very important theoretical short session before starting our technical session in cybersecurity, certificate ethical hacking and cybersecurity, where we can learn a lot of techniques, tactics, how the hackers imitate or mimic the real hackers to do some bad actions. So I need to disclaimer for today for every video I put in this channel that this education only the purpose of this education to learn how the hackers is working and using different techniques, tactics, tools to use this information only for educational purpose and to prepare yourself how to defend for your organization and your personal computer or data against hackers. This is again disclaimer, only use it for your own lab, okay, where you create your own lab or your laptop. Don't use it against any other individuals, parties, or organization. Thank you for listening to this disclaimer. So what is the information security? Okay, as I mentioned in the slide, information security is when we talk about business continuity to protect their business and their patent or maybe their intellectual properties or sensitive informations, okay, from any third party to manipulate them. So they are using the approach called CIA. CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. What that mean? Okay, that means they need to make their services for availability 24 hours, 7 days, 12 months, all the years to what? To make their services up and running and available to all their customers or to their own business, okay? This is for availability. I mean integrity. Integrity stands for that mean you do access, okay, to your information, and those access only you have authorized modification. I mean or deletion. That mean you cannot have integrity without confidentiality because I need only those people who are authorized to access my data information to read or maybe to modify. Other not authorized people or authorized access, that means it is breaking my integrity. That means my information could be stealed, could be or altered or changed, modified by third party, okay? Or maybe hackers, third party, or spies, or spammers, scammers, whatever, you name it. Now confidentiality, okay? Confidentiality, that means only also authorized parties or users, okay, or processes or other system can access to data or system, okay? Any third party to access not allowed. It is not confidential. Confidential would be break the integrity and maybe can break the availability to make our services disrupted or down, okay? That means if you notice for those words, okay, mean authorized parties mean and users mean those people, okay, employee people, and or process, that mean we have security for people, security for process, and also for systems to access the data or system. That means there's security for infrastructure, for technologies, and security for data. So for security, okay, area is very important to secure our people, secure our process, secure our system, which is infrastructure and networking and systems and technologies as well. Also secure our data when data should be secured by encryption or white listing or blacklisting, whatever the technology are used. So let's talk about those four technologies, for security area in the domain, and you can have better understanding why we need to secure this area and I hope after that we can jump to technical after we finish theoretical part. Let's go to this slide, okay, talk about security of people, okay. We have biometrics. Biometrics mean physical security. If you notice in the airport checkpoint, they need to check the travelers or visitors packages. Maybe there's any not allowed tools. They are going in the plane, not allowed to carry these tools because could be bad actors used by bad actors to do hijacking or whatever. Okay, for example, I'm telling you. Or maybe go inside the bank, there's some terrorists, they don't like to do any bad actions to steal the bank. So biometrics and CCTV, which is surveillance camera, they will observe the people, okay, as physical security. Also access control. Imagine if you go to hospitals or maybe to some organizations, they have access control. Those not allowed to any visitor to access, only authorized visitors. This is kind of physical for people security. So let's talk about non-physical. We have cybersecurity awareness, where we need to train our users or people inside organizations, for example, to be aware about some security threats like phishing, okay. It's very important technique used by attackers to bypass the security control organization, because people that are the weakness point in the network organization, where the attackers trick the people and by using email or calling by phone and tell them that we are from the same organization or third-party organization. We need to access your computer or system to do some update or to do some security patches where they give some information and let that user to be convinced this is a third party, they are a legitimate third party or legitimate colleague from the same company. He need to access and do some proper update or installation or whatever. Those could be hackers. They deceive that user to access their system and do bad actions like delivering a Trojan or open access door, backside access door to the networks, or maybe do install a malware or something like this. So also we have multi-factor authentication, okay. It's very important. When the user he need to access, okay, he need to verify that he has different access methods where to be make look like verification to his access. Maybe the user, the attackers, the hackers, he can be able to steal the credential of the user to access the system, but there's multi-factor authentication. That means when he need to access the system, he need to verify the other factor of authentication, look like send a code or one-time password to his mobile to verify he need to access to this system. This can stop hackers or attackers to successfully access the system, okay. And also personal devices. Attackers, so he need to access the weakness devices very easy, okay, like computers, like smartphones. So the user, they need to understand and be awareness about how to harden their devices, installing some security controls in their devices, maybe using difficult and long password to not be have password penetration, okay, or stealing the password by some techniques. Look like brute force attack, which is can deliver a different option of password how to steal the access inside the device. There's many other techniques. We talk about it in the next slide. Let's talk now about So let's talk about technology security. Okay, it has many areas, also sub areas. First of all, we have network security. Okay, it is an infrastructure for an organization. They have some security controls like next generation firewall. This device, it has the ID approach. What that means? It has deep in defense. It has multi-layer security, starting from a firewall, access control, okay, then do IBS, IDS, where it has intrusion detection system to deep packet inspection using signature-based engine, or maybe using behavior engine, where integrated with the machine learning to identify any malicious behavior, okay, and detect any hidden patterns could create a threat inside the networks. After that, they have web application security, okay, and we have email security, could be integrated with firewall, and we have deep leakage detection, okay, could be a function for firewall, okay. This is called deep in defense, multi-layer security. This could be deployed in the perimeter of the organization to protect any infiltrated packets, where can normalize any attacks or threats or bad patterns or anomaly patterns, then protected from infiltrating inside organizations, okay. After that, we have EDR, endpoint detection and response, for many kind of malwares and threats inside the networks. This security agent could be deployed in your devices like computers, servers, any device, okay. Then we have XDR, which is extend detect and response, more advanced than EDR, okay, more advanced, where it can be good for sophisticated and advanced malware to be detected and make a response to eliminate these threats. Also, we have AAA, which is authentication, authorization, and accounting, and it has other name called network access control. Okay, this is very important security for networking, where this can limit the moving inside the networks. For example, in some phases of the attacks, there could name after foothold, after gain the access in the network, the attackers, he need to escalate the root privilege, okay, and also he need to do lateral movement to check and discover other sensitive information. When we applying this network access control or AAA, okay, what happened? These technologies for networking security, security controls systems, can protect based on who is the user you need to access and the device you need to access, okay, plus based on what you need to access of data, what, okay. After that, he need to check which area are you allowed to go to this device or this area or zone of the networks, okay, and also based off when. Sometimes the hackers or the threat will come at outside of the work office time. This is look like will be strange, okay, could be hacking. Why you coming in this time to access, okay. And this NAC also, it can give what? It can make enforcement, police enforcement to control the access. if the device he need to access not comply with the policy, he will be segregated or quarantined until he comply with security policies in the organization, like patching their vulnerabilities, like updating the antivirus. Okay, many criteria will be based on these policies. What else? Also, it can do profiling for devices. Profiling. Okay. Profiling means, okay, it can detect any device, any application. What kind of device? Could be IoT device, could be network device, could be server, and do classification of devices. Could be called device profiling, where you can apply different policies for different devices. Okay, this is very important security controls inside the networks with the SIEM. We discussed the SIEM last time, security information event management. It can integrate it with all security controls, with system also as well, with applications, with operating system, with different part of networking, and receive all the logs, will aggregate the logs, will receive the logs first, aggregate the logs, normalize the logs, okay, and correlate the logs to find any bad behavior or any anomalies inside the networks. It can make an alarm. It can do security compliance and reporting. And at the end, it will provide the visibility inside all the networks and can check any, let's say, trajectory of the threat, the scope of the threat, where it started or originated, how it's distributed, where it exists, and it can trigger an alarm to other security controls to stop the threats, like can tell the next generation firewall to stop this kind of packet or file or information to be, or data to be blocked, and can tell the EDR or XDR to delete this kind of threat, because it has an indicator of compromise also. So SIEM is very important. All of this, I mean, from the perimeter security controls, like next generation firewall, which has deep defense and multi-layer of security, to IPS, IDS, EDR, XDR, and network access control and SIEM. They are very important to catch, detect, and delete or mitigate against the threats. This will be after the fact, after the threats break the networks. Very important, by the way. Okay. Later we talk about this continuum of the threats or the attacks. It has before, during, and after the fact, after the threat is infiltrated the networks. Those kind of security controls very important to contain and mitigate against those threats. Okay, so also we have data security. Data security, we have two options of data security. Okay, the first option is encryption. We need to encrypt the data end to end when the data is at rest, or maybe the data in use, or in motion, or maybe in use. Okay, after that we have application security. We need to focus on keeping the software application secure from threat, from vulnerabilities, involve secure coding practice, like updating, regular updating, and vulnerability scanning. Also, we do static code scanning, okay, and secure coding. Okay, we need to do static and dynamic code scanning against any bad or weaknesses or vulnerabilities inside your applications or software. Okay, And we need to keep in mind during all of this security, especially the networking security, we have something called zero-day trust. Okay, that means we don't have trust even for any new access. Could be, as I mentioned before, lateral movement of the hacker. He need to move from devices to devices, and he need to escalate for root privilege. Okay, it's zero trust security. It can adopt approach called never trust. Okay, always verify. When the user or any device need to access other device or data or information in any time, he need to verify by accessing. This approach called zero trust security, and is very good, especially for the phases when the attack he need to, after he gets gains the access and get the foothold, okay, and gain the access, he need to do what? Lateral movement and escalate root privilege. That in this case, the zero trust security is very good to stop the attacker to do this kind of movement. Okay, and also it using artificial intelligence and machine learning to detect and respond to threats in real time, predict future attack, and automate the security task where those are used by most of the security controls in the networking. Okay, from that I mentioned already. Okay, so we have also application security. As I told you, we need to update the applications and do vulnerability scanning and do analysis in dynamic and static analysis to find the weaknesses, the vulnerabilities inside the coding or software. Okay, so we have information security as well to protect data from unauthorized access, modification, or destruction, because we can encrypt this data and using access control, as I mentioned. So we have also operation security. Okay, this is also kind of technologies, or could be for process security. It will encompasses the process and decision for the handling and how to handle, okay, and protect the data assets. Also, it can involve incident response plan, disaster recovery plan, also involve regular security audits like SIEM, and each of this area play a critical role in creating a comprehensive security strategy to protect the system, the network, and data from any threats or any advanced threats or vulnerabilities as well. So this is the story about our today's session. And remaining, I need to mention vulnerabilities is a weakness or flaw in your system. Okay, exploit. This is the actual way. Okay, an actual mechanism, technique, algorithm, whatever, will be used by attackers in advance to manipulate the vulnerabilities, to exploit the vulnerabilities, okay, to create an attack. Payload is a malicious damaging part of the exploit. Could be a malware, could be malicious code created to do the exploitation. And we have zero-day attack. The attackers used zero-day vulnerabilities where this kind of attack has no patch yet. And defense in deep, I already talked about it. You have multi-layer of security, and you make defense in deep, as I mentioned already. So today we'll talk about the attack life cycle, as we see here, which is When the attackers need to start, he will start with initial reconnaissance. When he can gather the information about the victim, the target, using many varied ways like Google hacks, accessing the social media, reading information from LinkedIn, from Facebook about the victim or the attackers, understand who are his friends, his birthday. So he gather very private and personal information. If he need to later conduct a phishing, he need to let this user or the victim to be trust, get a kind of trust. And when he get a kind of trust because the sender, he knows some private information, he can be easily tricked and deceived by phishing. Okay. Also, we have initial compromises where after doing port scanning and enumeration, he can compromise those vulnerabilities to conduct an attack. And after he conducts the attack, let's say create organization, a piece of code, or phishing, whatever, and he send it or deliver it to the victim, he be able to establish a foothold. That means he gain an access. After gaining an access, he need to do escalation privilege or root escalation privilege, okay, and do lateral movement to move to other asset, a very sensitive and important asset, to get more sensitive information and do different attacks. So if he be able to do that, his mission is completed. If not yet, he needs also to do more lateral movement and more reconnaissance inside the network to find more critical asset to hijack or to attack, to escalate privilege of their credentials, okay, and he be able to access, and again he maintain the his access called maintain presence, okay, access and maintain the access to maybe this access, the first access or first threat or attack he do it, maybe discovered by the security controls or maybe the administrators of that organization, but he has alternative way, okay, how to access by backdoor to the organization if his attack discovered, okay, and so far he keep in this loop until he complete his mission. This is called attack life cycle. And because the attackers in this case are using different techniques and procedures, then we have cyber skill chain methodology. It's very important for you to understand this one until you can stop the attackers in any phase of this. If you be able to stop the attackers in any phase, that means you stop the attack. That means you kill the chain of the attack, okay? First, the reconnaissance. Reconnaissance, that means we do monitoring of the networks, I mean the attackers. They need to use tools to detect activities and authorize scanning. Also there's threat intelligence, very important in this phase for the organization to feed them with latest threat updates, the latest threat, and their security control can stop this kind of threats at the beginning. If there's any port scanning, any active or passive reconnaissance using some tools like, let's say, in Windows, NSLookup, or maybe ping, to ping the device inside the network by attackers from outside the networks and getting the reply from the firewall, maybe using some command like using in-map scanning, where the attackers trying to discover all the assets of the networks using different scan. Those kind of things can be discovered and stop the chain of the attack if discovered by reconnaissance. Okay. Also, the attackers, after that, he need to make weaponization. He need to create a piece of code, okay, malicious code, I mean, or payload to exploit and do backdoor inside the networks. In this stage, he create a malware and this kind of exploit. After that, he need to go to delivery, where he need to deliver this a piece of code, a malicious of code, or deliver the malware by using different ways, like phishing. It's very important, by email, by maybe he throw a USB near to the premises of the victims, and the victim he can get a USB malicious script written inside. Once the victim uses it in his laptop or networks, the script will automatically execute it and do a backdoor access to attackers. Exploitation, that means the attacker he need to exploit the vulnerability he already discovered in the reconnaissance. Okay, after he deliver the malware, this malware will be executed and will exploit the vulnerability inside the network of victim machines. After that, he need to install different malware or different attack inside the network to steal privileged credentials, okay, escalate root credentials. He maybe also do other reconnaissance inside the networks. So also he can, in the second stage, he do command and control. After he be able to successfully install the malware, he can now manipulate the device. Maybe he can create this device as a botnet, as a zombie, and control it remotely using command and control. Maybe can abuse this device to make another attack to different victim, and maybe he has thousands of botnets like this device, and tells botnets to do denial of service attack to other victim to destroy, disrupt, or distract the services of that victim. Okay, and also he can do other attack from this compromised device. Maybe this device already has a username and password, and be able to access to some data, and he utilizes this kind of things to access the SQL or database server and so far, to do different kind of attacks. At the end, he do actions and objectives, maybe his objectives or motivation to do espionage or sabotage, or even data exfiltration and spying on this organization. Okay, there's many objectives on that and goals. If the administrator, I mean the security and state administrators in the networks, after they understand of those cyber kill chain methodologies, and they are be able to do a security controls in any of those stages, he be able to stop or to kill the cyber attack. Okay. For example, in weaponization, he can use email security. We can use email security to implement strong email filtering to detect and block malicious attachment. Also can do data leakage prevention. Also, this file scanning using antivirus, anti-malware tool to scan the files for unknown threats. Also, in delivery, for delivery, I mean the phishing awareness, where you make phishing awareness, security awareness to users, to employees, to be able to stop the attack and be aware. Okay, do training for them to help them to recognize and avoid phishing. Also, we need to secure browser, use web security solution, block access to malicious websites. For exploitation, maybe there's some kind of server do patch management, okay, inside the network to update any software or system to fix the vulnerabilities and so far. Okay, for installation, maybe you need to deploy endpoint protection, to deploy a solution to detect and block exploitation, to have a behavioral analysis tools to monitor and analyze the system behavior to detect and block malware installation. Also can do application whitelisting, only allow to this application to access, okay, approve this one to access and run on your system, not allowed to any other applications. That means we verify that this system have only one application, not allow other, I mean the attacker to use different application vulnerabilities to access, okay. Also for command and control, network segmentation is very important, where you can segregate or quarantine the networks to limit the attack, to have ability to move literally, to move easily between the zones in the networks, where you can make a checkpoint and do, for example, zero-day trust as well, using also network access control. For action and objectives, okay, data loss prevention is very important, where will be implemented to prevent unauthorized data exfiltration. By implementing these measures, at the end, we can effectively defend against any cyber attacks at the end of the stages of the life cycle, okay? So here, very important thing I need to access, to talk about it, sorry, which is attack continuum, the last slide for today's session. We have before, during, after. That means during, before the attack, during the attack, after the attack. What you need to do for each stage until you make your security posture is optimal, okay? For before, of course, we need to discover, enforce policy, we need to harden our security devices to be immune, susceptible to attack or threats, using different security controls like firewall, VPN, next generation firewall, NAC, network access control, identity services, ADR, XDR, the security controls in the network I already mentioned to you, okay? Okay, by the way, this stage is very important, okay? Where most of the threat will be blocked to infiltrate inside the networks. Maybe we can block around 90% or 95% of the threat, but still there's 5% of the threat where there's advanced malware, advanced threat, sophisticated malware, okay, or maybe zero-day malware or threat are be able to infiltrate inside the networks. And here the other stage is very important to block and detect those kind of threats using machine learning integrated in the security controls in the ADR, XDR, SIEM, okay, where also using next generation IPS, which is integrated with machine learning, deep learning, to check by behavioral checking if there's any abnormal or anomaly behavioral, okay? Also we have email security, web security. And the end, still the attackers be able to breach our network because very, let's say, very high, sophisticated, advanced malware. But here, the beauty of after. Still, the security control working all together and cooperated all together, correlated the attack, contains the attack, and do detect and response using different security with SIEM, security information and event management, as I mentioned in the previous slide, where you can stop the attack, have a visibility inside the network, and make network behavior analysis. And we have advanced malware sandboxing, and advanced malware protection using different security, as I mentioned previously. Okay, what I can tell in very brief, before the attack, okay, this phase focus on the preventing potential threats. The main action include discover, okay, where we need to have assess discovery, identify the devices, the system, the application, the data with our networks to understand what need to be protected. We can also do vulnerability assessment, okay, to scan, continuous scanning or regular scanning for vulnerabilities and discover the security weaknesses which could be exploited by the attackers. Okay, also using threat intelligence. Okay, because threat intelligence, it can provide and feed our security controls with the latest updated threats, zero-day threats, and can be blocked very easy at the perimeter. Okay, also we have enforcement. In this during, we have access control, could be in before, during, and after. Okay, we do access control to implement strict access, identity access management, let's say zero-day trust, and many other technologies, as I mentioned already. Okay, also we need to do hardening, we do patching of the do patching of any system or updates inside our network or software, whatever, and we do follow the policies or regulations to have very strong passwords, for example, and at the end we need to minimize the attack surface. Okay, and we need to do network segmentation to divide network into different segments, VLANs, and so far, and not allow or limit the lateral movement of attackers. During the attacks, we can use IDS, IPS to monitor and find the signs of malicious activities. Also, we have a SIEM, very important, I mentioned, to collect, analyze, log data from various or different sources for security control system applications and operating system to identify the suspicious behavior and generate the alerts. Okay, we can also block the alert at this point. Also, we don't forget the firewall, next firewall to block malicious traffic after getting alert from the SIEM, and tell the network access control also to be involved to limit the threats. Also, we have endpoint protection like ADR, XDR, where it can block the malware and other threats. Okay, and also we have a defend, where we have incident response to activate our incident response plan to coordinate with other efforts to contain and mitigate the attacks. Okay, after, as I mentioned, we have SIEM and other security control keep doing analysis until they find any hidden patterns or malicious patterns or hidden links and hidden indicator of compromise. This is keep analysis, okay, using machine learning, deep learning, in all the security control and SIEM, okay, to stop the attacks. By focusing on this action before, during, and after, the organization can enhance their ability to prevent, detect, respond, and minimize the impact of attacks, and increase their security postures, and keep their business continuity and services for their customers and their organization. Thank you attending this very long theoretical and very critical information have been given in this session, and just to understand about the holistic picture about the threat, the security, before moving to technical sessions for each part of the threat or attack life cycle. Thank you very much, and please keep giving comments, share the session, and make likes. Thank you.